Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ashley Plans and Saves. I'm Ashley, and today I'm going to share with you my October budget overview as well as my Excel sheet, which shows my paycheck to paycheck budget. Starting in my income, I'm not expecting to roll over anything from September. September was a crazy month in terms of my budget. There was a lot going on, but October, fingers crossed, is going to be just straightforward. My paycheck one, which I got today on the 3rd, was 1475.01. That moving forward should be my new base until the end of the year, I'm pretty sure. After school income, which comes in next week on the 11th, that should be about 280. My next paycheck is the 17th, which should again be 1475.01. And my last after school paycheck on the 25th should be about 330. So all in all, I'm expecting $3,560.02 in income. My savings is also pretty straightforward. Roth IRA gets 450, my Lyft sinking fund gets 15, clothing sinking fund gets 30, my family and gift sinking fund gets 50. However, I did already spend $9.75 on a gift for one of my friends. Me and my friends pool together our money to buy one larger gift, and then we just split the cost. Travel sinking fund gets 100, but I already spent $26 on Greyhound tickets. I'm going back to Philly at the end of the month. Large purchase sinking fund, that was also known as my down payment sinking fund. That's just an investing account that I have at Betterment for some future purchase. For a while, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be a down payment for a condo or something, but who really knows what I'll use it for. But that's 5 to 7 years that I plan to be saving towards this larger purchase. It is getting $850. That's less than what I typically like to do. I have a 2019 goal of at least contributing $12,000 towards this sinking fund. So since my budget is going to be shifting a little bit, especially when I get a new apartment and my rent will more than likely increase, I want to account for this sinking fund as much as possible. So what I'm planning to do with my after school income is split those two paychecks up. So the larger of the two paychecks, which in this case is going to be about $330, that's going to be an additional to my large purchase sinking fund. I'll just make that transfer once I get paid from after school. The second sinking fund will be my fund money. I'll put that into my fund money long-term account, and that'll be the smaller of the two checks. So that's the plan for now. If anything needs to change, I can change it, but that's moving forward. I think that's a good enough plan. Nothing goes into my moving or emergency sinking funds because those are funded as much as they need to be. Now, spending. I tried to adjust my spending and be a bit more thoughtful about it, based on what I've been noticing in my budgets over the last few months. So groceries, I tend to underspend. So instead of 65 per week, I'm giving myself $60 per week. Already, I went to Trader Joe's for this first week of October and I spent $53.68. So I'm on track so far. Eating slash hanging out, I've kind of edited this line item a little bit, just because last month showed me that I just was piling too much stuff into my miscellaneous fund. So hopefully eating slash hanging out will be a bit of a cleaner area to place items in, but who really knows? I'm budgeting 110.36. That was pretty much just what was left over my budget. That's because I'm going to Philly at the end of the month. My friend is visiting in the middle of the month, and then I am already going out this weekend. So I want to make sure I hopefully have enough money for all of that fun stuff. Household, in the future, I'm budgeting 30, but this month I think I'm pretty much okay on all my household stuff. So I'm budgeting 20 just to be safe. Nothing for miscellaneous. That's kind of my unbudgeted category for the most part. I'm not sure about this fund money short term sinking fund anymore. Um, I haven't used it in a while. I don't necessarily think it's necessary because I don't really know. I might just, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of it because there's really no point. My September over budget. This is accounting for the over budget expenses I had in September, which was 1154. That may be plus or minus a few cents or a few dollars. I have to still wait for a couple of transactions to completely finalize, all the money to be taken out of my account so I can just adjust if necessary. But that is around what it should be. So I want to account for that spending. Household 55.88 for internet, electricity is 51.31 for my portion this month, and rent is at 902.95. That's because we have a new management company for our apartment, and their rent payment website charges a $2.95 processing fee. So it's annoying, but I just want to make sure I account for that. Subscription, Spotify is $9.99, Netflix is $12.99, and then finally my phone is at $40, which is all typical for every month. So that is pretty much it. I'm hoping October is a very straightforward, clean-cut month, no crazy transfers, but that's what the whole month is looking like. Over here into my paycheck to paycheck budget, this is what I like to theoretically use between paychecks just to make sure I know how much money I have available to spend. So, I mean, September didn't really work out, but this is my plan for October. Like this section here is my first paycheck, and then this second section here is for my second paycheck. First paycheck, I put, my income, 1475.01, and that just about that much is expected for the check two. I split up my rent between both paychecks, so it's about $450 per check. I split my Roth IRA between both checks, so that's $225 per check. I pay my Optimum and my Con Ed bill, which is my electricity bill, in the first half of the month, so that's $55.88 and $51.31. And then my subscriptions are paid at the end of the month when they're due. So altogether, that's about $63 there. Down to my spending and sinking funds. Spending $120 per check for groceries or $60 per week. Eating out is split a little bit for this month, so it's about 56 and some change for the first paycheck and 54 and some change for the second paycheck. Household, I gave it $10 per paycheck. And then finally, here's just the over budget for September line item that I wanted to account for. Finally, my sinking funds and savings. I like to fund all of my sinking funds for the most part with my first paycheck, and so my second paycheck just has the one transaction I have to make. So for this paycheck, I'm putting that 30 into my clothing sinking fund, 50 into my family and gifts, 100 into travel, and 15 into Lyft and Uber. Since I already made some transactions, I just made a note here to myself of how much exactly to transfer. So I transferred 30 to my Ally sinking fund for clothing, 40.25 to my Ally sinking fund for family and gifts because I made that $9.75 transaction. And then also 74 is what's being transferred to my travel sinking fund from Ally because I already paid $26 for the Greyhound ticket. So I transferred 144.25 into my Ally sinking funds, and my Lyft and Uber sinking fund is left in my PNC debit card account. It's my savings for my PNC debit card. So that's easily accessible. And then finally, my personal savings, which is also the large purchase sinking fund, that is getting 300 this paycheck. And the next paycheck, since it's the only sinking fund I have to fund, it can get the full 550 so that by the end of the month, it'll be 850, which is the goal. Right here, maybe I can move this over. This is where I keep track of how much I technically make in after school. So for example, if this is going to be 380, which is about what I anticipate, underneath I'm going to write large purchase sinking fund. I just know where that money goes. But I'll wait until I get paid so I can fill that in. Here's where I calculate my portion of the electricity. I pay internet out of pocket. I also pay for me and my roommate's Netflix that we share. So once I account for that and I account for the bill for the electricity, which this month was $171.49, I come up with a total that we both should be paying towards these utilities. And then since I account for paying for Netflix and paying for the internet, I just had to pay $51.31 towards a Con Ed bill, which I did. Right? And then this is me just tracking how much I am putting into my long-term down payment or whatever sinking fund. That's useless. This, I have no idea what this is, so I'm going to delete it. All right, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share that with you because I find it really helpful for me to do a paycheck to paycheck budget just so I can know how much money I have left to spend. So right now I know I have $132.60 left with my first paycheck for the next 2 weeks of spending. So that's my next session of groceries, any eating out, any household things I need. But once that 132 is done, I know I'm already moving into spending money that I don't technically have yet, and that won't come until I get my second paycheck. So I find it really helpful. Perhaps some people out there may find it helpful as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. I would really appreciate that. Also, if you're interested in more of these budget videos, I am trying to do it basically 3 times a month, the overview, the mid-month check-in, and then the recap at the end of the month. So you can look out for October's mid-month review in about 2 weeks. So yeah, subscribe if you're interested in that. Otherwise, everyone have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.